Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. I am a big believer in energy and how it's everything in our lives. Talked about it quite a bit here on these podcasts. Never in this direction. And that is talking about energy, looking at that through the lens of your work, a leader, or let's say you're even an employee and your job situation. Those relationships, how does energy come into play? We're going to look at that today. And she helps companies, executives, CEOs, leaders, individuals navigate life through amazing coaching and principles. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it. She's amazing. Denise Krumlian is back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Steve. Thanks so much for the great introduction.
Loving what we're going to talk about, because I guess let's break it down. Instead of me explaining it, energy. What is energy?
I knew you were going to ask me this. Energy, I mean, the simplest definition is really around the ability, like what is required to do work. But really from kind of a more intangible perspective, it's a kind of a nondescript thing, but it's our sensations and what we feel inside. And so that's the way I talk about it anyway, in terms of like where you put, if you're feeling a pain, for instance, and you focus on that pain versus maybe you don't want that pain. Well, what do you want? So a lot of times our focus goes towards what we don't want instead of what we do want. So we can expend the energy focusing on what we don't want, or we can shift that and focus on what we do want.
For me, and I totally agree with you. How does that go? The attention goes where the focus goes?
Where your focus goes, energy flows.
The energy flows. Thank you.
Mhm.
When it comes to energy, I believe everything has a vibration. It's
so true.
Even the pen. This pen has a certain energetic vibration. Yes, it's an inanimate object, but it still has a vibrational property. Obviously, we humans have a different vibration, and we're always sending those vibrations out. And what comes back is what we sent out. So you got to be careful with that. So that gets us into, the leadership world, the management area. If you apply the energy thing to that, it can be very powerful, or it can be very detrimental at the same time, right?
Yes, and vibration is the word, absolutely. We all are energy and we all vibrate at different levels. And when we're in a positive state, our vibrations are at a much higher level than when we're in a more depressed state. They're lower. And in fact, there's actually frequencies that you can look up, and you can do meditations to different frequencies. So for instance, I know we've talked a lot about gratitude. There's a specific frequency that you can listen to that helps to keep you in that vibrational state of gratitude.
They're available for all different goals, whether it's a vibration of love, like you said, gratitude, whatever it is. And go look them up on Spotify, YouTube.
Yes.
It's music that's been created with that frequency vibration within it. And like we joke about a pen, this has, a vibration. Quick story. I have an old Jeep. It is now 25 years old, rusting away. I say it's in hospice. I use it just in the summer, usually take my kayaks on it. I love it because I don't have to worry about it. I don't even lock it. Just my fun thing. So there was a period of time where it was breaking down. A belt would snap. I'd be driving something, brakes gave out, and I'd be like, "You piece of, really." And then I flipped it around, and now I'm like, "I love you, little car. You and me, we are buds," and I send positive energy to it. I'm going to tell you, when I was sending the negativity to it, it kept breaking down. Now that I baby it and I say, "I appreciate you. Oh, we did another good run today. You're good. You're good." I have not had one problem with it. And I even anticipate, I don't start it up all the time. So every couple of weeks I go out there, just crank it over. And I'm like, just start it again. Thank you so much. I honestly and truly believe the vibration I'm putting into it gives me back what it's doing. So I appreciate it now.
Yeah. And so imagine if you can take that and then apply it to our work situations, our personal situations, and the people that are in our lives, right?
Right.
So, and maybe you're having a challenging situation at work with somebody. Imagine instead of just going at it in a combative way, right, which is definitely a certain frequency, imagine if you take another approach and think about what's the outcome you want and focus on vibrating at that level, focusing on what it is that you want. I want to have a more connected conversation so that we can do X. If you go in with that intention, the outcome, you only have control over what you do, right? So we don't know, maybe the other person's going into it with a different intention. So that it could not, maybe it doesn't always work, but you can know from your perspective, you going into it with that positive intention.
100%. Intention, great word. It's what you put into it, what you're going to get out of it. And there are variables, you're dealing with somebody else, but at least you're armed with the best possible scenario. Here's another example, and this is with people. So I've experimented. I've gone to the gym. Now I see the same people. I don't even know who they are. And they're just working out, walking around, whatever. And I'm just doing my thing, whatever. Got my headphones on. So I've gone a few times to the gym before I walk in. And I say to myself, raise your vibration. Bring it up. Just raise it up. Positivity. Bring it up. Raise it up. Raise it up. Walk through the door. People will pass me. And I'm not doing anything different. Face is the same. They will say, hey, how you doing? How's it going? How you doing? How you doing? Strangers. See them every day. Why are they saying hi out of nowhere? I really think it's because I walked in and I was vibrating positivity. They're picking up on it. Everybody wants to be a part of your party. And
Positive energy magnet.
there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've seen it. I've seen it in action. It's
And how many times, like, do you have a friend that maybe is like always having people come up to them,
yeah,
oh, they always have a date for something, and then other people maybe they're really struggling with that, and part of that is what are they potentially putting out to the world,
right.
and that goes along with beliefs, right? So the energy and your beliefs are two of the key components towards manifesting what you want. And
Hmm.
so, yeah. So because your beliefs can impact your energy, because energy can also be emotions.
So when we say belief, let's go with maybe a real world example. Give an example of maybe a goal or something that somebody could want and how that translates to the belief.
Yeah. So, in the world of, leadership, you want your team to be high performing, let's say, right? Or maybe it's for themselves that they're an individual contributor and they want to be a leader in the organization. So, how are they showing up every day? So, what's the energy they're putting out there? And then also, what's their belief? Do they believe they can be a leader in this organization? Because they might be committed to making it happen and like do it, checking all the boxes and doing that. However, if either consciously or subconsciously they don't believe it, their energy is going to be lower. They're not going to be as much of an influencer because they're, again, that positive energy magnet won't be there. And also, you can get into self-sabotage because subconsciously, if you don't believe something, you can be committed at 10. And this is something I found in my goal setting. You can be committed at a 10, but your belief that you can make it actually happen could be maybe a 3. And it's probably not going to happen, or it's going to take a lot longer
Mm,
because you don't have that same level of belief.
completely. It's the same person that goes into a job interview thinking, I'm never going to get this. Come on, this job, this is for somebody with so much more experience that not even going to happen. You already walked in believing it wasn't going to happen. And right back to the beginning of what we said, your attention, how does that go again?
Where your focus goes, energy
Flows,
flows.
right? So you're putting your energy into, I'm going to fail. You just, without even knowing it, you sabotage the outcome. Mm.
Absolutely. And that's a natural law, that law of attraction. And there's a ton of different laws that can also support that energy concept that you can look into.
Oh, yeah.
Um, the other one, though, is the opposite, which is what you resist persists. And so
Hmm.
that is such an interesting, that's not, it's a concept from Carl Jung. And just the idea of that though, is that if you are, it's like, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. Right. But it's inevitable that it's going to happen instead of sometimes having acceptance for something. Right? Imagine if you could go into something that you know is not a great situation, but you have acceptance for it and you're going to be open to the possibility. Right there, you're elevating your energy rather than squashing it because you're resisting.
Hmm.
So, just interesting concepts to think about, and especially at this time of year when a lot of people are goal setting, whether you're in an organization and you're trying to motivate and engage your team and for the year ahead or on your own, with personal goals. It's really these concepts that can really make a difference towards manifesting what you want.
How do you change your beliefs?
Hmm. You work with somebody like me.
Hmm. I get you.
Um,
I get you. I don't think it's I don't think that's an easy thing to change. I don't know
no,
if that we can even do that ourselves. And like you said before, it could go back to a subconscious situation. You might not even know why you're doing it and or that you are doing it. And it could go back to your childhood.
absolutely. And, there's different levels of, that can sometimes go into trauma, which again, a lot of coaches are not necessarily trained in. And so you may need help from a specific trauma therapist for something like that. So I want to just call out the difference there. I am actually getting certified in some more sensation-based coaching with the Somatic Coaching Academy right
Oh,
now. And
cool.
so, yeah.
Isn't
And
it
so
kind of what we're talking about here today,
it
isn't it?
is, and that's part of why I wanted to bring it up because I'm such a believer in the mindset part and then also just the sensations in your body. And then one of the big, like mind-blowing moments for me in my learnings recently has been what the definition of emotions are. And this is again something I learned through this course. And it's really about emotions being sensations plus your thoughts. And
Say
so
that again. I want to process that.
yeah, emotions are your sensations, so the things that you're feeling in your body, plus your thoughts. And so if you have anxiety about something like oh my God, a job interview, for instance, right? I have such anxiety about that. I get such a pit in my stomach and I break out into a sweat. Well, what is that pit in your stomach? What's that sensation? Can you name it? And then there's a whole process that you can do to support yourself to relieve that sensation or change that. Um, the point is, though, in relation to what we're talking about today, is that the belief piece, too, though, the thought is the meaning that you're putting on that sensation.
I have my pen and my post-it note. I'm ready to
Yeah.
go. Emotions are.
Emotions are sensations plus thoughts.
Hmm. You never hear the word sensations,
I know.
right?
You always say feelings, and that's one of the learnings that I have is that you can say I feel anxious or I feel hurt but the sensation in your body is what you're trying to get another level of awareness for.
It's a more true description of what's going on.
Mhm.
Hmm. Wow. And so that sensation that you have, you identify it, you
Mhm.
give it a name. I've even heard maybe give it a color or something.
Yeah, and mostly like you can say I have tightness in my calf, or I have a tightness in my neck every time this happens, or I get triggered by X. So it's the emotion piece. It doesn't always have an emotion. It can start from an actual physical therapist can use this too. I look at it more from the emotional perspective, going back to what we originally started with, which was the limiting belief, right? So it can be a limiting belief or it could be a subconscious belief because our body keeps the score. And there's actually a book called Body Keeps the Score, which I just learned about that I'm going to be looking into.
Hmm.
Um, and then I also want to tell you about this book, The Mindful Body. I just listened to a podcast from this woman, Ellen Langer. And I can send that to you later. But this book I'm excited about because it's about reconnecting your mind and your body. And so again, how does this all relate to what we're like work or whatever? But the meaning we put on things, consciously or subconsciously, drives our actions and it drives so much of our lives. And so being mindful can really help us to stay what is mindfulness? It's being present, right? And so if you're mindful, you understand what's going on in your body, you understand the meaning you're putting on things, you have more clarity, and then you can make better decisions and respond to things versus react. And that's why,
Mm.
coming back to the work part or even your personal life or goals or relationships, that's why this is important.
And when you make those decisions, feel more confident,
Hmm.
because now you've got data, you've got evidence based on what the sensations are, your surroundings, your experience, because now you get, more faith in yourself after a period of time when you make decisions. It's like, I made the right decision because I'm listening to my body. I think it's also the language too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Mm.
there's so much about, your thoughts and then what are the words that you're saying. And my coach actually has a copywritten formula, the up level formula, which is that whole thing about your beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings and your actions determine the results. And so, Hanukkah, just to say that. So she and I have talked a lot about this, and it's caused me to actually dive deeper into my own mindfulness and what does it mean. And that's how I found the somatic coaching and all the other things, and kind of putting it all together, coming into this culture of methodology as well as my life pie method. There's really the overlap is really in commitment. However, that clarity that you get from really understanding what you want and why you want it, and then your commitment to it, which includes your beliefs, and then the consistency and your focus on it, which needs mindfulness and embodying it. So, how do you feel, or how do you want to feel when you're achieving a goal, or you're on a team, or you're getting to the next level in your career, or whatever it is?
When you're goal setting, how do you apply this to that?
Hmm. I actually, in my goal setting workshop, the Life Pie Method, I focus a lot on the mindset element, um, getting clarity with what they want, getting as smart of a goal as you can, and then focusing on that. How committed are you, and how much do you believe, and what that underlying thing? And that's where we work through some of those limiting beliefs that they may have to help change them. And you asked, how do you change them? It is really first getting clarity in what the limiting belief is, and then acknowledging that that's not serving them anymore so that they can discover what it is that's going to serve them better.
How do you know the difference between a task and a goal? I heard this, saw this somewhere. The goal should move you, like
Mhm.
excite you, as opposed to a task. So, for example, um, I'm got invoices to do. I'm going to do 35 today. Normally, I'm going to get 40 done today, or 45. I'm going to do 45. All right, yeah. You set a goal for yourself, but not exciting you. It's just like, all right, I did got more done today. Maybe less work I got to do tomorrow. Is that more of a task as opposed to a goal, where the goal is going to be, wow, I can't believe I attained that. I'm excited to get to that goal.
So what's the why for needing to do those 45 invoices? The big picture goal
Mm.
is probably I want to increase my revenue or my profits by X this year. And so the task is I need to bill out people at a higher volume. So I need to have more customers. I need to do all those different things. So those are the tasks. And so the milestone might be that every day I have to hit 45 in order to achieve that goal. But the goal is the thing that excites you, and you embody that goal, you visualize it, you understand what it's going to be like. You take time to really feel what is it going to feel like and what's the energy I'm going to have when I achieve this. And then by embodying that, those tasks have more meaning. And it
Mm.
goes back to everybody in their role from a work. Remember, we were talking about, I think we've talked about before job crafting. So people aren't just whatever their role is, what's their part in those bigger goals?
How about language? Things that we say to ourselves. Like I've changed, I've reframed some of the things I say. Example, I can't wait to have that steak tonight, to go to that restaurant. I can't wait. What are you telling yourself? You're telling yourself subconscious, wait, 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 as opposed to I'm looking forward to that steak
Yeah,
at that restaurant tonight.
it's
Those little things like that, do they add up to big things?
they can, absolutely. And there's a lot of subconscious things too that we don't even realize. Like I'll just give one, health goal. I haven't cracked my code yet. So what is it saying? What am I saying to myself by even saying that? I haven't cracked my code for what my nutrition needs to be. Okay, that means I can't do something versus I'm I'm excited about, the meals that I have planned for myself this week and seeing what results they have.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like yeah, it's just so different. Or even like you're eating a piece of chocolate and you're saying, "Oh my God, I shouldn't be doing this." What are you telling your body to, how are you telling your body to react? So versus because our mind, if we say, "Oh my God, this is the most delicious morsel I've ever had," your body's going to think it's good for it. I'm not saying to do that with everything, but you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? This concept of it. Another thing is stress. So I talk a lot about stress and resilience. And a lot of times I listen to another perspective on this. If you are talking about stress in the negative all the time, of course it's going to have a bigger impact on your body physically as well as potentially mentally, right? But if you talk about stress and say, "Thank you, body, for putting me into this state so that I'm ready to conquer whatever's coming my way," just
Yeah.
mind blowing, just a different perspective.
It's a reframe, and
Mhm.
even and thank you, body, for letting me know that you're kind of stressed out right now. I appreciate the information. Yeah, as opposed to I am so stressed. What a day! Oh my gosh, I don't even know how I'm going to finish this day. The stress is just another thing just got piled up. What are you doing? How are you going to navigate through all of that? You're bringing it on yourself.
And we
Yeah.
don't realize it. And society can do that too, right? So it's just about being mindful of those words. What is your energy going into a meeting or going into an interview or going into a conversation, whether it's a challenging one or a good one with, somebody at work or at home, it's being present and really understanding what it is that you're desiring the outcome to be. And then coming from that place of energy.
Yeah, I find it makes all the difference in the world. And just setting the intention, let's say you have to have a meeting with somebody, might not be the most pleasurable situation. Maybe it's with a client and you're kind of anticipating maybe they're making a change in their budget or whatever it might be. You don't know that they are. You don't know what the outcome's going to be. You're not a fortune teller. So why not raise up your energy, your vibration? You might go in expecting the worst, and they're cutting back everything, and they might only cut back maybe 5%, and then you have another idea that generate you throw them, and 2 months from now they may buy into it and then be spending more. You don't know, but why not start on not the rose-colored glasses? It's just be
No.
positive. you
Yeah.
know, why not?
Yeah. And that goes back to just, acceptance and like not having in an intention is different than an expectation. So that's a really important thing. So if you trade your expectations for appreciation, so coming into it again with a positive mindset and intention of a positive thing, you may want that thing, but if you can't expect that. The thing that's best for everybody is what will happen. And it might not seem like it, but all you can do is your part. And so that's what I really try to empower people that I work with is like, what do you have the ability to do right now? Not even control it. I don't like to use that word anymore. It's like ability to do. What do you want to do? And what's the outcome that you desire?
Yeah, and that's the intention you put in. And thank you for the distinction between intention and expectation because it's different. Sometimes an expectation is this is what I'm expecting. That's what's going down. That's what's happening. You can set an intention to react to it in a positive way, but it's going to happen anyway. How do we find you? What's the best way, Denise?
The website is probably the easiest way, or LinkedIn. So denisekrumlian.com, DeniseKrumlian.com.
Do you ever stop cracking the code. Like here you are, what we're talking about today, you're studying this just to bring more value to your clients. Like you have a thirst. You really do, like to learn more, right?
I do. I mean, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be able to hopefully reach more people and just our conversations and the collaboration with you. And yes, that's why I'm doing, this is my purpose. Coaching is my love and my purpose. And I really just want to help as many people as I can.
I knew that from the first 5 seconds I met you, like in terms of the purpose. This is you, and you are strategic and easy to understand. And so many little pieces of information I've taken from you, I've shared with others, i.e. emotions are sensations and thoughts. I'll be sharing that one. Fantastic. Wonderful having you on here. Just a joy. And I'm looking forward next time we get a chance to get together. I have a feeling that's going to happen.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.